This is CBN NewsWatch.
It is Thursday, February 18, 2021. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, remembering Rush Limbaugh. We're going to bring you a look back at the conservative radio talk show host's pioneering historic career and legacy as the tributes pour in following his death from lung cancer. Another major winter storm on the way as people in Texas are still without power and asking why has their power generation had so many problems when they need it most. Is Iran on the way to developing a nuclear weapon no matter what the U.S. does? We're going to hear from one Middle East expert who explains why the answer could be yes. And a cure for COVID from Israel. We're going to bring you a look at some very promising research. All those stories and more are ahead in today's edition of CBN NewsWatch. We begin this half hour with a look back at the historic legacy of conservative talk radio pioneer Rush Limbaugh, who's being remembered for his historic national career spanning more than 3 decades. Limbaugh died at the age of 70 after battling advanced lung cancer. As Jennifer Wishon now reports, he had a widespread influence.
Greetings, my friends. Welcome, Rush Limbaugh, and a brand new week of broadcast excellence.
Born with a booming voice and given a name made for showbiz, Rush Hudson Limbaugh III made his mark on America. He boasted a broad vocabulary and command of the English language, which he often used like a surgeon uses a scalpel.
They are tearing down the wall at the border and building a wall around the United States Capitol. Have you heard that?
The Rush Limbaugh Show launched in 1988, a 3-hour daily talk show that grew to attract the largest audience in radio, making Limbaugh an enemy of the left and kingmaker on the right.
You just suddenly have become a national phenomenon, a very popular show. How come?
He spoke to CBN founder Dr. Pat Robertson 2 years into his national success.
I think one of the real reasons for the success of the show is the perception, and as you know, in politics, perception is oftentimes reality, the perception by real people that the primary disseminators of information in this country are shall we say, slanted to the left. Yeah. And here comes the first, and it's really the only national program on radio or TV that has a conservative bias to it, admittedly so, that they can latch onto.
Limbaugh had a knack for articulating conservatism that added depth to what his listeners were already thinking. In 1992, President Ronald Reagan wrote him, "Now that I've retired from active politics, I don't mind that you have become the #1 voice for conservatism in our country. I know the liberals call you the most dangerous man in America, but don't worry about it. They used to say the same thing about me. Keep up the good work. America needs to hear the way things ought to be." Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich says Limbaugh's support of the contract with America gave Republicans the push they needed to retake the House in 1994.
By 1993, he played an integral role with what we were trying to do in developing the contract with America. I don't think we would have won control of the House that year without Rush's support.
Limbaugh's listeners remained loyal through a number of controversies that saw him lose sponsors only to gain new ones. Known for generosity, he donated millions to causes he found worthy. He never had children and was married 4 times, leaving behind Catherine Adams, his wife of 10 years. In early 2020, Limbaugh announced he had advanced lung cancer, and the next night at the State of the Union address,
"Here tonight is a special man."
President Trump bestowed upon him the honor of a lifetime.
"I am proud to announce tonight that you will be receiving our country's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom."
To the end, Limbaugh publicly credited his faith in Jesus with getting him through his very difficult battle with cancer.
I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. It is of immense value, strength, confidence. And that's why I'm able to remain fully committed to the idea that what is supposed to happen will happen when it's meant to.
For his millions of listeners, Rush Limbaugh was a national treasure who can never be replaced. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
A new winter storm could dump between 6 to 12 inches of snow from West Virginia to Massachusetts, along with freezing rain and sleet. The storm pushing through the East Coast by tonight, with much of the I-95 corridor seeing several inches of accumulating snowfall. In Texas, nearly 3 million people already struggling with record-breaking freezing temperatures and snow from an earlier Arctic blast, and they're still in the dark and bracing for more frigid temperatures. The CEO of the company that manages 90% of electric power in Texas is warning residents to prepare for more rolling power outages to avoid what they call a catastrophic blackout. But Texans want to know how America's most energy-rich state couldn't manage to keep the lights and the heat on in the face of a record winter freeze. Natural gas, oil, nuclear, solar, and wind, all these energy sources apparently freezing up in the unprecedented winter event. Supporters of fossil fuels say the fact that half the wind turbines in the state froze shows the limits of alternative energy sources. Clint Woods with Americans for Prosperity says the Texas outages illustrate why it's important to have diverse sources of energy.
When consumers vote with their dollars, they tend to prefer affordable, low-cost, reliable, and usually pretty dense energy that doesn't require an enormous amount of land. So that often is a mix of energy sources.
Meanwhile, CBN's Operation Blessing is working with partners in Texas set to deliver bottled water, blankets, and other relief supplies to people in the cities of Dallas and Cleveland. The FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Brooklyn have started an investigation that includes looking into how New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's coronavirus task force handled nursing homes and other long-term care facilities during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Times-Union newspaper reports the probe is focusing on some of the senior members of the governor's task force. Cuomo has come under intense scrutiny for his handling of the pandemic after the state attorney general revealed the actual death count in long-term care facilities was much higher than the state government had reported. The South Carolina House overwhelmingly passed a bill banning nearly all abortions Wednesday, following the lead of the states with similar measures that would go into effect if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, that ruling that legalized abortion. Governor Henry McMaster praised the bill.
This is one of the most pro-life bills, most pro-life we've had here. One of the most pro-life in the country. It's time. It's a good step forward.
The bill has already passed the state Senate. It requires doctors to perform ultrasounds to check for a heartbeat of the unborn baby. If there is a heartbeat, the abortion can only be performed if the pregnancy was caused by rape or incest, or it threatens the mother's life. The bill is likely to face a court challenge to prevent it from going into effect. President Biden made his first call to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu Wednesday evening, a month after taking office. According to a statement from Netanyahu's office, their conversation was, quote, very warm and friendly and lasted about an hour. The statement said the two leaders noted their long-standing personal connection and discussed the Iranian threat, regional challenges, and the peace accords. Biden's waited longer than any other president in decades to reach out to Israeli leadership, and that led to concerns that ties between the two allies would not be as warm as during the era of President Trump. But the White House said that Biden had affirmed his personal history of steadfast commitment to Israel's security and conveyed his intent to strengthen all aspects of the U.S.-Israel partnership. Coming up, is there no way to stop Iran from developing a nuclear weapon? The answer to the question may be yes, and we'll hear why when we come back.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world-class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
Nigerian Christians
in Iran are routinely arrested.
Happily, Christians continue to suffer.
In times of trial and affliction, you need to know the truth.
One of the fastest growing Christian populations in the world.
Join Wendy Griffith and George Thomas for Christian World News.
Young people are the ones who are open to the gospel.
Powerful stories of suffering and hope that affect all Christians. Watch Christian World News, Saturday at 5 p.m.
Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
President Biden is considering possible retaliation for Iran's deadly missile attack on a northern Iraqi air base used by American troops. One contractor, a U.S. soldier, and several American contractors were wounded in the attack on Tuesday. The incident complicates the president's desire for a thaw in relations with Iran. On this week's episode of The Global Lane, a Middle East analyst explains why he believes Iran may not be able to be prevented from developing a nuclear bomb.
The reality is that regardless if they have the bomb or they are close to having it, as long as they're able to use it in negotiations, I think U.S. is going to cave regardless of the administration. We haven't had a coherent foreign policy with Iran going back to 1979 under all the administrations that have come along. So it's a matter of whether or not we are going to take their bluff. The current administration is going to remove the a foreign terrorist organization designation on the Houthis in Yemen. That's probably going to be the backdoor that's going to be used in order to negotiate with Iran for a possibility of another possible JCPOA.
Well, the Ayatollah has issued a fatwa, that's an Islamic edict banning the creation of a nuclear bomb. Explain what he would do and how that might influence political decisions to move forward to a nuclear bomb development.
Well, these are just talking points from the Iranian leadership in order to be able to open the door for negotiations. Iran is still strong within the region. It's currently in a fight with Turkey to try to expand its influence in Syria, in Yemen, in Libya, and Lebanon. So Iran's ability to reach out for its foreign policy based on the manifest destiny that Ayatollah Khomeini gave it in 1979, where he said that the road to Jerusalem was through Karbala, is still their driving mode and mechanism by which Iran executes its foreign policy. However, Iran does understand that American-U.S. foreign policy is a 2-year policy with the change of Congress and uses the requirements and the rhetoric in order to be able to strike possibility and easing of the sanctions. As long as we are able to ease sanctions on Iran, Iran will continue to move forward.
So, Sarkis, it seemed that President Trump moved us away from Iran and the Shiites, and now Joe Biden's moving us back to them.
Well, the reality is that we need to develop a foreign policy for the region. And the foreign policy for the region cannot be just based on the fact that we cannot allow Iran to have a nuclear bomb. In 1979, when we had Iran break away, Iran, the Shah, for us was a counter to communist Russia, the same as he was a counter prior to us moving into the region, into Iran for the British. However, with that said, when Iran flipped and did not become a communist nation and became an Islamic nation, our foreign policy really didn't change in the region. We still were working in a deterrence against Russia, so we decided to put our chips in the bowl of Saddam and support him to counter communist expansion within the region. So for us to be able to achieve any type of a victory in the Middle East, we have to have a foreign policy. And for the past 40 years, I would argue that we have never had a foreign policy that really looked at Iran, except a possible 2-year policies where we kind of shift to ensure that maybe they do not have the weapon technologies that might lead to a nuclear weapon.
Well, it seems like we always kick the can down the road. You're not very optimistic about the Biden administration, does it sound like?
Well, they're going to try. Like I said, they will negotiate through the Houthis. Kerry was already negotiating with Iran with backdoor channels before the administrations changed. He was even working, hoping that if there was a current change in leadership with President Trump leaving and now President Biden coming in, it would be possible that we could go back to the old Obama policies. Foreign policy for the U.S. in the Middle East is very difficult to change overall because Middle East is just a volatile place. If you think about it, one individual in Tunisia burns himself and the entire region explodes in the Arab Spring. We don't know when the next individual who may put himself in a position where it might lead to a different type of Arab Spring for the region.
It's interesting you mentioned the Arab Spring, now 10 years, the 10th year anniversary. Also in the Middle East, earlier this month in Lebanon, political activist publisher Lokman Saleem was shot to death. His body was discovered in South Lebanon, riddled with 6 bullets. Saleem was an outspoken critic of Hezbollah. Why was he murdered now? And how likely is an investigation?
The problem in the Middle East is that organizational structures that are created, like the Hezbollah and other organizational structures, tend to have an internal cleansing now and then. And it's just an unfortunate piece, and I don't want to look at it from a callous perspective, but these things happen in the Middle East. These things happen internal to organizations. The Iranians read it as one that says, go ahead and do what you're doing, because if the American government was interested, regardless of the administration, for a long-term solution for the region, then they would have taken steps forward to create a long-term foreign policy, because we do not create one from administration to administration. Iran takes it as a green light to move forward.
For more important stories and trends in the news, be sure to check out The Global Lane. You can catch it this evening at 8:30 Eastern on the CBN News Channel. Still ahead, a possible cure for COVID. Doctors in Israel believe they may have found one. We're going to explain what it is right after this.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thanks for joining us.
Watch breaking news, exclusive stories and programs, credible news reporting.
We show you what's happening in the world and how you can pray about it.
This is CBN NewsWatch, because truth matters. Weekdays at 5 on the CBN News Channel.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Millsburg Falls man, come.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me.
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
A cure for COVID? That's what doctors in Israel believe they may have found through an experimental drug. They also say they can supply the entire world with it in a matter of a few months. So what is this new drug and how does it work? And why do doctors have such high hopes for it? Chris Mitchell brings us this story from Jerusalem.
Sonia Cohen could one day be seen as a walking miracle.
I want to say thank you for everything. You saved my life. I was in a poor condition and now I'm better.
Coming to the hospital with COVID-19, she was unable to breathe. She was placed in intensive care and needed oxygen. That's when Professor Nadir Arber came to her and asked if she would be part of a clinical trial for a new drug. Sonia said yes.
From the first dose of the trial drug, it's possible to say I felt a lot better. After 2 days, I got off the oxygen in stages and I could breathe. I could really breathe. I felt that I was between life and death. Thanks to God, and of course, thanks to the doctors.
Doctors at Ichilov Hospital believe they may have found a cure for the COVID-19 virus. They say just 5 doses from a little bottle could end the worldwide pandemic.
So this is a drug. It is very simple. You give it to patients with severe disease before they are going to deteriorate into very severe disease that mandate ventilations and even mortality.
Professor Arber is director of research on developing the anti-coronavirus drug EXO-CD24, a treatment derived from a cell line established from a child aborted decades ago.
We don't really treat the corona, we treated the endpoint. There is overreactions of the immune system. The immune system is acting furiously and mainly in the lung, releasing a lot of cytokines and chemokines that usually fight infections, but now they're destroying the lung tissue.
That's the point they intervene and administer their treatment, which Arber says interrupts the cytokine storm.
And we give it by inhalation. It's very simple. It takes 2 to 3 minutes per day, and you do it for 5 days. So we enrolled 30 patients in the phase 1. We checked for safety, and the drug was very safe, no side effects whatsoever.
All 30 patients in that phase 1 trial recovered.
And most of them went home after 3 to 5 days.
While Arber believes the vaccination push is important, he also feels this drug could have an even bigger impact if the remaining 2 phases of the important human trials are successful.
The biggest advantage of my drug, if it's effective of course, is that I can produce it fast, efficient and cheap. Within a few months I can supply the entire world needs.
Arber recently briefed Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on the treatment's progress. Later, at a press conference with the visiting Greek Prime Minister, Netanyahu praised the results and reported Greek hospitals would join in the clinical trials.
If you're infected by corona and you're seriously ill and you have a lung problem, you take this, you inhale this with a saline solution, and you come out feeling good.
Arber says many more countries want to participate, and he believes this could be just the beginning.
And then it's going to be the platform for many other diseases with overreaction, like autoimmune disease, in the lung and the entire body.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Coming up, an uncommon sight in Jerusalem as a rare Middle East winter storm brings snow to the biblical city. We've got that story for you coming up next.
Are you suffering from feeling tired or worn out during the day? Can you not turn off your brain at night? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce, the sleep doctor, and I've partnered with the Christian Broadcasting Network, and we're going to bring you some unbelievable information that you can use tonight to get a better night's rest.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Protect Your Sleep today.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living, Tuesday night at 9:30.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
No spur falls, man.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
People in Jerusalem woke up to a blanket of snow this morning after a rare Middle East storm dropped snow on the city, northern Israel, and other parts of the Middle East. The snowfall began Wednesday evening. Even at midnight, Israelis were out in the city's main park enjoying the rare chance to play in the snow. Jerusalem's iconic sites were shrouded in snow, including the Old City.
Nothing is normal in the Middle East. Why should the weather be any different? This is amazing. It's fantastic to look around and see all this white stuff covering these ancient stones.
Up to 6 inches of snow accumulated, causing some collateral damage, including the car of CBN's videographer. But for the most part, Israelis just enjoyed a break from news on the pandemic and upcoming elections. Central Israel gets snow about every 5 years, but the last big snow was in 2013, when more than a foot fell overnight. Time now for your Thursday Thankful, and today I leave you with this prayer of gratitude. Father, I thank you for the ability to inhale and exhale. Every breath is a gift, a miracle that I can't ignore. I'm grateful forever and stand in awe of your glory and your power. With that word, I encourage you to also make this a thankful Thursday. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN Newswatch. I want to remind you can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel at any time. You can also find them online at cbnnews.com. And you can let us know what you think about the stories you've seen today by emailing newswatch@cbn.com. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. Make it a thankful Thursday. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.